Hello everybody and welcome to this amazing game of Dead by Daylight. Today we're just going to look at the changes that were made to the clown and what we can expect for the upcoming update to Dead by Daylight. As we all know, the PTB had a few extra bits put in that will not show up in the June update, and we don't have a date for that June update either, but we can speculate that it will be close to June 14th. We may even speculate that it could come after the typical developer stream on Thursday and be released at approximately 10 a.m. Pacific time if it were to come out this week. Looking at the update to the clown in the PTB itself, it seems like they've removed the slow penalty for the clown as he charges his bottles. This penalty was about 9%, which I had originally thought it to only be approximately 5, so it wasn't that big of a noticeable deal for me while playing the clown, as quick throws were never too bad, but it's nice to see that they gave the clown a little bit of love before his actual release, since that quality of life is a nice touch. His add-ons were also adjusted to make sure that the effects of this speed up were also met there. For example, this is not a true buff. If he were to be using add-ons, his total gain if he were using add-ons would be the same, but they're just increasing his base power to make sure that even without add-ons, you're still viable. Additionally, they increased the duration of the effects by, I believe, half a second, so that's also nice, being that the duration to me was already sufficient, but in the end, the overall increase I'm not going to complain about. It's just a bonus to the killer itself, and he desperately needs it. Other things from the patch you can expect to see in the June update will be the shops, the Oryx cells, the new change to iridescent, and the pallet drop change. These are all the major changes that will be coming, so do remember that the hatch closing change is not coming. It will not be ready, or that is what we are told to be ready for per the developer. They also made some changes to the hatch closing within the PTB because they want to make sure that they balance it to the best of their ability. So what we're typically doing here is giving them feedback on how we feel about the hatch standoff and closing the hatch and what the effects are of that. And they acknowledge that it outright defeated the hatch standoff, as there is no standoff left to have. But a lot of people didn't feel it was possible to do the generators to get out, and this would lead to some bad situations for the survivor, but to be fair, if the killer found it, I saw no issue in this myself. So instead, when the hatch becomes closed, all the generators are then powered, and when this occurs, the survivor will still have to open the doors, and that supposedly brings a lot of tension off the final survivor, although again, I'm not sure why they need a free win, or ultimately I feel that will ruin the survivor of their objective points if the game was not really going their way and if they couldn't get any generators, on top of, the killer might be left out of his gatekeeper, but that's all being tested. But my speculation is that is not a fantastic idea itself. Now I just want to take a moment to comment on what's going on right here. The fantastic ability of the clown when in the basement, he's got some good defense. I just want to throw a tip out there. If you are in the basement or making a defensive play and people are trying to get around you, one of the best things you could do is just throw a bottle of gas, and that will slow everybody down. And when you strike somebody, everyone is slowed trying to get through you, and this will essentially rebuild your physical collision, because normally when you strike a survivor, the collision goes away and they can slip by you, but because they're slower than usual, they can't slip by before that collision comes back. Therefore, you could actually strike the savior who saved someone on the hook and then body block the injured person and then take them out. It's a fantastic play. And those types of things are interesting for me as far as the clown is concerned. It's what I really enjoy about his character. So then where does this all bring us? And unfortunately, I can't say that this game is going to be fixed, because the next problem that comes up regarding this update is the PTB is essentially what we'll have for another month and a half after it is released. It's been a long time since we've been crying for balance, and the amount of time it will take them to balance the game to what we'd like is ever so slow. It's just not going to happen anytime soon, and this becomes a massive problem for us. And the reason I say this is because, well, if we wanted some change that would be for the better, that would make everything better, such as the hatch standoff is a change that should have come over a year ago, it's just not coming anytime soon, because that's not even coming in this patch. Therefore, we gotta wait this patch, then go for the next one. And unfortunately, it sucks, but it's what's gonna happen. While playing the PTB, the only thing I really noticed is that nothing really changed. The pallet drop update is fantastic. It definitely makes it slightly better. But that slightly better is not immensely better. It is not a fix. It's just like that pallet buff we got before, or pallet nerf, where they took away one pallet and distributed to them perfectly. It just alters how a survivor plays around the pallet, but we still come to the same exact issues, same exact window things. They had talked about increasing the overall size of the loops so you couldn't see around them, therefore you had a little bit of a mind game to play. Fair enough, they did on only the base maps, and that's not even half of them. Maybe it might be half of them, but there's a lot of maps that is not exactly the case. And now I love the newest map. They seem to do everything right in regards to the newest map, but all in all, it does not fix the situation we have. If you're a killer main out there and you're getting tired of the way killer's being played and hoping for that update, that buff that we need to really enjoy the kill, this I do not believe is it. And it is not coming for another month and a half after the release of this update. So you've got quite a wait beforehand, because the roadmap is about every month and a half there's a patch. And it kind of alternates. One's a balance update, and the other patch after that is a content release. So you'll get your balance, and if the balance isn't what you needed, essentially the next patch is not going to be balanced. Maybe minor fixes, but not big ones. So you'll have your balance, then you're going to have the next chapter come out, and then they're going to wait and get feedback on all of that, and then release content to update for that balance fix. Now, this game is enjoyable with friends. This game is enjoyable as a survivor. I do enjoy it. It is a bit easy. Still got to challenge myself. But nonetheless, as a survivor main, I would be happy. And especially the emblem changes they made to make the emblems easier to get is all good. It's fantastic. It's great. But for killers, I'm sorry. This is just not the fix, and it's not coming. So for me, I'm definitely kind of tapping out as far as daily content for Dead by Daylight goes. Definitely, you can see on my channel, it has slowed down. I don't do daily gameplay because I don't play this game more than twice a week, and even on stream, sometimes I'll drop the game for another game. It's bad. I don't like to talk negatively about this, but I'm hyped for games like Hide or Die, which I have the gameplay trailer to. I'll link it in the description. If you want to look at Hide or Die, they got kind of a scripted trailer there of the gameplay, but I mean, legitimately, that game looks good. Now, a lot of people were confused on to how that game worked, but it's kind of like if you took Dead by Daylight, and just bear with me when I say the next few words and let me explain it a little bit, but you turned it into a battle royale. Now, halt, I know you're thinking Fortnite and PUBG. No, it's kind of like you get 16 people in one room, and it's Dead by Daylight, except one of them can become the killer. And when they become the killer, which they do by finding the darkness on the field, they then go around and murder the other 15 survivors. The survivors flip switches on generators to power up some big thing that opens the next area, and it also dispels the darkness, returning the killer back to survivor. Everyone migrates to the new area, and rinse and repeat until 2 people are left. Killer and survivor. The survivor will then be given a weapon to take out the killer, and the killer will have to take out the survivor. Last one standing wins. This is kind of a fantastic way to play, as it does balance the gameplay to be for everybody. Anyone can be the killer, and if you don't want to be, you can kill the killer, but you have to be the best survivor out of the other people. To me, that sounds fantastic, and I'm absolutely in. And let's not forget Death Garden, which is right around the corner. Death Garden just had a great closed alpha. It was fantastic. For an alpha, I would say that gameplay was very intriguing. Now, of course, a lot of people were complaining that there was no reason to play it. And of course that's true, because it's an alpha. You're not supposed to level up, experience, and progress while experimenting with core mechanics. The core mechanics of Death Garden are exactly what Dead by Daylight needed. And unfortunately, it seemed like they took everyone that was relevant for Dead by Daylight and just put them on the team of Death Garden, and Death Garden has done some fantastic things. People said there were problems with the Hunter being way too powerful. Okay, fair enough. They actually made a fair few amount of changes already for the closed beta. Now, the closed beta is going to have a lot more in it for us to test, along with all the fixes they made from all the feedback from the closed alpha. That is such a fantastic part of that. It's just fantastic to hear that they've already made plenty of balancing progress, and I think we can really come together with Death Garden. Now, I know a lot of people are not excited for Death Garden because they love Dead by Daylight, but if you were like me, who put a year and a half into this game, 2 years, I'm sorry, I am on my 2 years, it's just, I can't anymore. This game just, if I wanted to be Survivor, I could absolutely have a blast, but oh, look at the gameplay. If I don't protect that hook right there, as you can see, the survivors will make the save, and that makes life hard on me. Because if you didn't know, both survivors are actually not working on generators right now. They're trying to go for that save. One's trying to bait me over there while the other one sneaks around. You'll see that coming up very shortly. This is something where I can make no input that would benefit me. Either A, I'm an asshole, and for being an asshole, I go and protect my prize, my points, and ensure that I win, or I'm just like, hey, you know what, you guys actually are so bad, I can walk away from this hook, let you make that save, and then come kill you later because you're not gonna get this next generator. I mean, I took their advice. I absolutely have been playing tons of games. I mean, I've been doing that way beforehand. I'm an achievement hunter, but I finally manned up and I put other content on my channel, and shockingly, the hide or die content did really good. And I'm excited to jump into that. And if you guys are willing to join me, I'll link the video to the hide or die down below if I haven't already said that. I think I did. Then you guys go watch that video. It's still in Kickstarter. I'm going to be a founder for it. I might do a couple giveaways for some things. Stay tuned. My Twitch, I still play a little bit of Dead by Daylight, but until this PTB releases, there really is no point. If I get into high ranks, I will not be able to play the game. If I don't play in high ranks, the game's just laughably easy. And it's just so odd that I had to make a custom game for a tournament that actually turned out pretty well. The Curse of Fates tournament turned out well. The games themselves were a little iffy, and there wasn't a huge turnout of players because everyone's afraid of the D-Pip squad, but that's another story, that's another problem. I'll talk to everyone about that. Dead by Daylight is not dying. Dead by Daylight is not gonna die anytime soon. It's got a fair amount of players that support the game. It's got a good standing. The game is especially fun for new people just getting into it that don't experience this fatigue of understanding the very shallow gameplay. I actually found it funny that someone told me that Hide or Die looked very shallow and Dauntless was a shallow game, and this is by far the definition of a shallow game. Well, thank you everybody for just listening and hearing me out. I will still be working on the game as far as guides and everything goes. I'll still get the storytelling done, and I'll give you guys all the updates, as I will still be around for that. But variety is coming to the channel because I'm no longer going to pin myself under one game that can't even figure its shit out. Death Garden, Hide or Die, Dauntless, Vermintide, Hunt Showdown, all coming to the channel. fantastic. I've been having fun with them. I've been getting them down, and I hope you all do too. If you love Dead by Daylight, fantastic. Stick around. I'll get you some guides to help you improve your game, and that's what I plan to do. Regardless how I feel about this game, I'll be here to support you, as I have always been for anybody who's asked for help. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll probably be announcing the next Curse of Fates tournament, which did pretty well, like I said, soon. So if you want to participate, there are rewards for it. We're going to be passing out some of the awesome prizes back to the winners. And that's all I have to say for now. And as always, good game.